Hi, I am Ozzy the Wonder Squirrel. Don't forget to watch Evil Dead Chick on Deadites on Deck on YouTube. Oh, and subscribe, man!
Hello, my name is Poe. I am the official mascot of the Deadites on Deck Horror Shop. Come, take my claw. Oops, mind the slime. Let me show you around the horror shop. What's that? I don't like horror? Well, let me show you some of the cool stuff we have over here.
Take out the trash. Why? There might be something delicious in all that slop. Put out the air fresheners. Place a clothespin on your nose. Let's dig into the cream of the crop. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch. Celluloid trash. It stinks, but we must watch.
Howdy, gang, and once again, I am really late. I don't know. I may have to permanently change celluloid trash. And no, I'm not in the night shirt. I'm actually in the shirt that I put the We Watch or one of the We Watch movies logos on for the show Steve and I do. But I apologize that I am so late once again. I keep thinking, I don't know why, that I can watch 2 movies when I get off at 6 o'clock from work and still get on here by 8. But it ain't happening. And it's not been happening, even though I've tried, for the last few weeks. And if anybody is still awake and in here, you'll notice that it's after 10 p.m. And I do apologize for that. I may just have to bite the bullet and make this later, or get my butt in gear and watch the movies the night before, but I didn't. And so this is where I am. But, if you don't get to watch it live, you can always watch it on the replay. That is one of the great things about YouTube, is that, it's on the channel and you can watch it at your leisure, right? And some people probably think I should do these as videos anyway. But I like, the interaction with people if there are possibly people in here. And that's why I do so many live streams. So here in just a little bit, we're going to be talking about Robo Vampire from 1988, directed by Godfrey Ho. And Rock and Roll Nightmare, directed by John Fasano from 1987. And as many of you know that watch a lot of these horror films, good, bad, and all the rest, you know that John Fasano also did Black Roses. So I'm going to, be talking a little bit about whether I think Black Roses is better than Rock and Roll Nightmare, etc., etc. So we're going to get to that in just a little bit. But I want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way first, as I always do on here. So we do have some more programming coming up, and I can pretty much almost guarantee that Tuesday and Wednesday night, I will be doing Horror Movie Rewind on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be doing a Horror Movie Rewind for Trick or Treat from 1986. And there's going to be a rescheduled Evil Dead Chicks Top 10 Kills in the Friday the 13th franchise. So I've got everything all ready to go for those two shows. Not really going to have to rewatch anything for that. They're all messed up. I'm still planning on Thursday night to begin things at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then, of course, Friday is Halloween, and I am off that day. So for They're All Messed Up, we're going to be talking about Don't Open the Door and Pete Walker's Frightmare from 1974 about the cannibal mama. And we're going to be talking about the kills in each of them because, yeah, that's what we do on They're All Messed Up. Now, thinking ahead a little bit into the future, for November the 21st, will be another Evil Dead Chicks slumber party. And this is going to be Evil Dead Chicks, A Nightmare on El Dorado Avenue slumber party. And we're going to be watching, hopefully together, the original Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. So look forward to that. I do have a watch along up for Halloween 4, and Hope, my good friend Hope, joined me for that. And I really, really enjoyed, as always, having Hope on there for the watch along. Now there is another poll up for the watch along movie choices for Saturday, November 8th. Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974 is still in the lead, but your other two choices are Blood Rage from 1987 and Home Sweet Home. So be sure to check out everything that's coming up. Go back and check out things in the past if you missed them, because again, like I said, if there's one great thing about YouTube is that unless there's something catastrophic happen, if you miss something, you can go back and watch it on the replay. I did put a ton of videos up yesterday that if you haven't checked them out, be sure to do so. I put the We Watch Movies episode 5 special Halloween edition that Steve and I did yesterday, and I was able to get that up last night. There's a Ordinary Man vinyl unboxing that I did for Ozzy's album Ordinary Man. I did Evil Dead Chicks fast food reviews for Wendy's Meal of Misfortune and Burger King's Halloween 2025 monster menu. I also did a Pick Your Poison taste test for A&W Zero Sugar Ice Cream Sundae. And as if that wasn't enough, I also put a Movie Munchies up for Ozzy's October Burrito. So check out all of that as well as all the other stuff that I have on the channel. All right, still got the contest going on for new subscribers only. I still haven't had any takers on that. Now, I did notice, and I forgot to ask the poet when he was in here last, because I saw that he put his screen name and or channel handle on one of the other videos, not the video where I announced the giveaway. So the poet, if you see this and you are wanting to be entered, you may be my only person. So you may get your choice of one of the 3 prize packs if that is what you are intending to do by, by putting your screen name and or channel handle under one of the videos I did or streams or whatever. I can't remember right now. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to Robo Vampire, which I don't own a copy of either one of the movies that I'm going to be talking about tonight. So I've got posters or DVD covers or whatever for both of these movies. So this actually says Robo Vampire 1 and 2. I didn't even know there was a second one, right? So I'm still kind of, what did I just watch? Whenever I, took a look at this. Because I could be wrong, but I'm thinking this may have been a Chinese film because we have the hopping vampires in this. And I thought Steve told me that meant it was a Chinese film if they had, hopping vampires. So this is listed as a superhero action horror sci-fi film. So you've got a narcotics agent. There's a lot of stuff in here, folks, for an hour and 30-minute film. So you've got a narcotics agent, Tom Wilde, is given a second chance at life after he gets shot and killed. So there's a futuristic experiment, and he comes back to life as an android robot. And basically he's sent to take out these heroin smugglers, these drug smugglers, who are taking bags of heroin and putting them in coffins or caskets or whatever you want to call them with dead bodies and trying to ship them, out of the country. But you've got the dead coming back as vampires. And then you've got this undead narcotics agent that is an android robot and a vampire. Like he's a cross between an android robot and a vampire. And believe it or not, that's the story in a nutshell of Robo Vampire. And I liked it for the sheer audacity of the film. There's a lot of crazy stuff in this film. Fair amount of blood in it. And if you can't tell by the picture on this DVD cover, he looks a lot, the head part at least, and the body too, if you really look at it, looks like RoboCop. And I feel like that maybe, Robo Vampire was modeled after RoboCop. More than likely that was the case. But I have not seen the second one, but you can check out the first one. And I believe maybe the second one on the Fossil Map. I think it is also available on YouTube. The transfer on the Fossil Map is so-so. It's not spectacular or anything. And, there may not be a really good transfer of Robo Vampire. But for the sheer entertainment value alone of this film, I am going to give it, pretty high rating. Not going to give it the top rating, but I am going to give it at least 4 Deadites out of 5. And in fact, I would like to go back and watch it again and possibly watch the second one. Now, are these good movies by any stretch of the imagination? I ain't going to lie to you folks. No, they're not. Or I wouldn't be covering them for Celluloid Trash, right? But they are entertaining enough that I got some enjoyment out of them, okay? This one is wacky and crazy, and the acting is not too bad in this, which is a great segue to talking about Rock and Roll Nightmare with John Michael Thor, who you can see there on the front of the Synapse Films DVD cover. Okay, now, for those of you that have seen John Fasano's other rock horror film, Black Roses, you got a lot of the same sort of creatures, demon-like creatures that you saw in Black Roses. Only I think Black Roses is a little bit of a better film, right? And, maybe this is blasphemous, folks, but I just, I don't think that uh, John Michael Thor is, well, he's definitely not a good actor, right? But I don't think he's that great of a singer either. But people might, you know, uh, disagree with me there. So you've got this band led by John Michael Thor showing up at a farmhouse basically in the middle of nowhere in Canada. Um, they are a hair band, of course, if you haven't figured it out by looking at John Michael Thor. Seeking inspiration to record their upcoming album. And they're soon going to find themselves, toe to toe with the Prince of Darkness himself. But I don't really see the Prince of Darkness there. And no, I'm not talking about Ozzy Osbourne. They're talking about Prince of Darkness as in the devil. But all I see or saw in this film was a lot of little minions running around amongst these really bad actors and actresses, folks. I mean, just really, really bad. And the writing is bad. The dialogue is very, very bad in some places because you have one of the guys, the drummer in the band, his girlfriend's a real bitch, and she doesn't like anybody, especially this couple that has just gotten married. The guy who's in the band, and of course, he brings his woman along with him on this trip, and they built a 24-track studio in the barn that is off of the house. Okay, and this bitchy girlfriend who couldn't act her way out of a paper bag gives a line that she tells her drummer boyfriend. She says, why couldn't you have been something else besides a musician? Why couldn't you have been a drug smuggler or something? And I'm like, a drug dealer. That's what she says. And I'm like, what? And part of that has to go, the blame for that has to go to, obviously John Fasano and whoever, well, John Michael Thor, because he was the writer of this movie. In fact, John Michael Thor had a lot to do with this movie other than playing the character of John Triton. Yeah, I just really don't know if I can say anything really good about this film. But, if you're looking for a John Fasano film that is the better film, folks, I would stick with Black Roses. Black Roses is a lot more entertaining. I like the creatures better, the demons better. I like the idea behind it better. I mean, you have these imps basically going around and impersonating the different people in the band and impersonating their girlfriends and impersonating their manager, who's this goofy guy named Phil, who I don't know how anybody would think that he would make a good manager. So a lot of bad acting, some decent rubber monsters in this, and some okay gore effects in it. That's probably the main thing it's got going for it is the blood and guts part of it, and demon hands coming out of people's bodies and all that jazz. But I thought Robo Vampire was a lot better of a film. This is very low on the totem pole for me as far as rock horror movies. Even Terror on Tour, who people say is, why does Dana like that? And that's just an awful movie. If I'm talking about rock horror movies, Terror on Tour would go above Rock and Roll Nightmare. It would have to for me. Even though people say that nothing really happens in Terror on Tour, that it's boring, yada, yada, yada. Rock and Roll Nightmare is just so stupid. And the people in it are stupid. And they say stupid things and they do stupid things in abundance. Not like normal, everyday, like horror movie stuff. It goes way beyond that. So you can tell that I really didn't much care for Rock and Roll Nightmare. And it started out promising. Hey, Gory Tiger, with, this kid seeing his parents, I guess basically transported to hell from their little farmhouse. And this is the same farmhouse that the hair band ends up coming to, create their album. So I can't give it 4. Definitely can't give it 5. But I will at least give it 3 to 3.5 deadites out of 5. Not the best of these celluloid trash films that I've talked about over time, but it has its moments. Okay, I'll at least give it a 3 to 3.5 deadites out of 5. All right. Well, as I got started late, I'm not going to bore you guys and gals anymore with any more talk of these movies. I think I have exhausted my thoughts on both of these films. But the next 2 films I should be covering next Monday will be Slash Dance from 1989, directed by James Shyman, and Slugs from 1987, directed by Juan Piquer Simone. Yeah, that guy that did Pieces, right? And also did Extraterrestrial Visitors, if you haven't seen that. So I'll be talking about those 2 movies hopefully next week, next Monday. So I guess that is it from me for tonight. I want to thank Gory Tiger for, popping into the chat and keeping me company during this last part of Celluloid Trash. But before I get off here, I'd like to remind you of the different ways that you can support me in the channel and it won't cost you a dime. One of the ways is by subscribing. Yeah, I reached my 1,000 subscriber milestone, but that doesn't mean that I'm ready to quit, that I'm ready to hang up my jock. I want to have more. So if you haven't subscribed and you're loving the content, or even maybe if you're liking the content a little bit, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content I've got coming out. And if there's stuff that you particularly enjoy, hit that like button. And heck, if you liked everything, hit that like button all across the board. I, for one, will certainly appreciate it. And here's one more way that you can support me in the channel. It won't cost you a dime, won't cost anybody that you tell about it a dime, right? And that is to tell friends and family members that you think might enjoy the content I'm putting out. Tell them about my channel. And in fact, I will put the channel handle in the chat for you guys and gals. Do you a solid there, right? And all of that costs you absolutely nothing. And yes, I still appreciate super chats and super stickers and all that. But I also know that, especially in this day and age, not everybody is made out of money. So the free stuff helps too, folks. So I just wanted to let y'all know that once again. But as always, I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, folks. I'm going to try to get some rest, so I'll be fresh and spry tomorrow for work, hopefully. I just got 4 days to work this week. Well, now 3 that I got Monday out of the way. But if you love Aussie as much as I do, get out there, blast some Aussie, and try your best to live the Aussie way. And what do I mean by that? I mean, don't stay stuck in the past, folks. Move forward from the present into the future and never, ever give up on your dreams. Again, have a fantastic rest of your Monday night, folks. I love each and every one of you out there. And thank you so much for continuing to support my little channel endeavor here. And hopefully there's more to come. And I'll see everybody next time.